honor, justice, loyalty. I believed in all these things once. I believed all must carry themselves with honor, that all must be sacrificed for justice, and that loyalty was absolute. I was told that for mortals, these things can always be bent, be broken. I thought I could change this, that if I just showed them the way, they could be better. I was wrong. Despite everything I did, when the time came, they broke. Their honor meant nothing. They rewarded my loyalty with betrayal. And there was no justice to be had. I admit they didn't all break, but enough of them did. This was not the end of me, though, despite what they may have thought. I have not forgotten the oaths I made. I continue the fight even now. They will answer, though, for their betrayal. Them and all their kin who let such things come to pass and said nothing, did nothing. They will uphold their oath again. They will join me here below. And this will happen soon. Very, very soon. This is Red Moon Roleplaying. It is a hot midday presently. It's been a reasonably warm summer up to this point, but you all could swear for the last few days the heat's been rather intense for this time of year. Very uncomfortable. Still, when it comes to the city of Baldur's Gate, hot days are not normally so bad. Being a great trade city by the great river Chionfar means the warmth is often cooled down by cooling gusts from the sea, the river, and beyond. We focus today on a pair of individuals. One is a dwarf and merchant by the name of Grom Helmsman, who hails from the town of Beregost, one of the nearby towns to the south of Baldur's Gate. He is accompanied today by an individual who he's hired for a little bit of protection. After all, the road to Baldur's Gate is not always safe. The woods, the roads, can sometimes be a bit of a lawless land, even though the Flaming Fist mercenaries claim otherwise. Still, for you, Royce, the journey was without event. Things have got a little stranger, though, as you've arrived at the city of Baldur's Gate. You have been here before, although I believe that was quite a long time ago. You're used to heavy traffic as you cross the great bridge known as Worm's Crossing over the river, which leads you to the outer city. Through the outer city, the road then winds around the great hills, until eventually reaching the Basilisk Gate, which is one of the first main gates that leads into the lower city and Baldur's Gate proper. Going through the slums, the stables, the peasant hovels. Again, there's normally a lot of people. But today has been an odd swell of activity, where normally the road would consist of maybe 20-30 travellers, merchants, people with business in going into the city. There's been hundreds of people today, Many of them bedraggled, looks of distress. You've managed to gather there's a situation going on. These people are refugees from the nearby city of Aturiel. Not quite sure what's going on, and maybe you've not really been that interested, because as far as you've been concerned, Royce, Grom has wanted to get to the city as quick as possible. He wants to get in. He's worried that you might not be able to with all this commotion. And you found yourself in front of the great Basilisk Gate, part of the great wall that surrounds much of the city of Baldur's Gate, one of the only ways in. You are waiting in a reasonably organised line, but again, these refugees, this crowds of people are everywhere, and everyone is crowding forwards, pushing against you ever so slightly to get into the city. Who are you, by the way, Royce? Who do we see as we focus on you standing next to a very worried-looking dwarven merchant?
So, Royce is a human for 5'11". I've flowing, shoulder-length, jet black hair, piercing blue eyes, the tanned skin of a man who spent his youth training outdoors. In his youth, he was formerly a boxer. A rugged stubble across his face, his hands wrapped, ready for combat as protection for this travelling caravan. He has a great club by his side if his hands fail as backup. Despite his hardened appearance, Royce is not usually the first man to throw a punch due to his calm persona, but he might well be the last man to throw the punch.
Grom is looking around, quite anxious. It's hard to get a quiet word in. You are surrounded by people, and everyone is shoving, a lot of shouting. People saying things like, "You let me through! Let me through! I am important! I'm important! Help! I have a child with me! I have a child! You must let him in!" Various commotions, people of all shapes, sizes, species, cultures. Everyone is trying to get in, and the guards at the gates are slowly, as is usual, letting people in. You are, of course, required to pay a toll to enter Baldur's Gate. But it is all getting very busy. Grom leans aside to you slightly. Royce, most untoward, most untoward. Better be on the lookout, yes? I don't want any of these people coming for my things.
Very well. Why are they here? Who are these refugees?
I don't bloody well know, do I? I know the same as you. I've just come here to deliver my goods. I hope our man is ready on the other side. I might be late at this rate. It's intolerable.
What's the signal? How do we get in contact with your men?
Well, we're meeting someone from the High Temple of Wonders. I did tell you that, right? The High House of Wonders. Oh, goodness me. I always get confused between the House of Wonders and the High House of Wonders. Why can't they just have one place?
Very well. I'll keep an eye on the goods. And Royce is going to kind of just do a perimeter walk of the caravan to make sure there isn't any ne'er-do-wells lurking around or looking to take any of our cargo.
Indeed. Well, at this point, of course, the caravan, just before it goes in the main gate, is going to have to check it at a stable to get rid of the horses. No horses are allowed in Baldur's Gate, or any beasts of burden, really, other than, of course, you remember the watchmen of the higher city. They have some beasts, but otherwise, it's not allowed. It would get very, very chaotic if horses, cows, that sort of thing were allowed to wander around the streets. They're quite crowded in Baldur's Gate. So, Grom has been trying to get you in that direction, but again, the stable looks full, and there are people everywhere. You're already being shoved by one man, just sort of shoves past you, like, out of my way!
As he brushes past, I'm going to grab him, push him back in the line, saying, "But there's a line. Look, no one's more important here. We're all queuing up. Get back in your place."
More important? Who are you? I have no home. My family are gone. Do you even care? Who are you?
I'm Royce St. John of Bergost. And look, I don't particularly care. We all have a reason to be here. Why have you no home?
As this is happening, attention is drawn onto you. In particular, a certain tiefling, who just so happens to be right behind you in the line, notices that there seems to be a commotion taking place. What do you make of this situation, young tiefling? Who are you?
So I am Larissa. She is a tiefling. She's got this very deep red skin. which is mostly from kind of the neck downwards, covered in very dark black tattoos of this kind of almost like swirling line work, but most of that is covered by the kind of leather armour that she wears and this cloak that she has drawn up right over her head, which kind of balloons outwards slightly as it conceals the horns at the side of her that come down kind of the side of her face and towards the back of her head. She is in a hurry. She's looking around trying to see how she can get through this crowd of people. Probably hasn't really taken much note of why there's more people than usual, just that it's an inconvenience to her in this moment.
Not to mention that the people just in front of you, who seem to be a caravan getting ready to unload, and a dwarf, and quite a tallish man, suddenly now this man is having some sort of argument with someone else in front of him. You have an eye for crowds, and you can already see that multiple people are taking notice of this, and multiple people seem to be getting very agitated. What are you doing?
She will push through slowly. She's quite interested when things start happening, because she can try and use those to her advantage, and often tries to. So she'll move her way through this crowd to try and get up to the argument, to really, and just kind of watch for a minute and see what's really going on and assess who's got a problem with who, or what the actual issue is.
Well, you push forward quite easily, getting quite close. Although you notice that as you push forward, people are starting to fill up the space behind you. People are starting to press together. It's strange, really, for a moment. You're not quite sure how to describe it, but it's almost like a feeling. A feeling of hostility, of anger, of frustration, but you can almost, feel it all around you. As if it's making things worse, and it's like you can see people are just being affected by this. It kind of goes very quickly, and you think, of course people are angry, we're all in a massive crowd, but it was a strange feeling you had there for a moment. Meanwhile, just a little bit beyond all this, as Grom and Royce, you were very close to getting into that main gate. On the other side is an individual waiting. He's been waiting for a few hours now. You were expecting your person to arrive much sooner, but again, all this traffic is insane. People are slowly diluting through that gate, but the gate can only handle so many people at a time. You are familiar also with how the Flaming Fist work. You've noticed in the last few minutes that quite a lot of additional men are coming towards the gate, weapons at the ready, getting ready to hold the gate, you think? Or something's going on. Who is this individual we see waiting?
The individual that you see waiting is Lothar. He's a tall man with brown hair. He's well built, handsome and clean-shaven. He wears a chainmail emblazoned with the holy symbol of Gond, the lord of all smiths, the Wonderbringer. It's a toothed metal cog with 4 spokes. There's a saffron-coloured cloth matching the colours the clerics of Gond usually carry that cover parts of his armour. The clothes are really all those of a cleric, but the rest of him is all soldier, including his eyes that have seen many things, perhaps too many. His role is handling security at the High House of Wonders, the temple to Gond and Baldur's Gate. It's something that is rewarded by Gond with some basic talents, but now he is no cleric. He is a soldier. He is someone who serves the church. And today, he is here on a mission. He's sent on errands quite frequently. And the person that he's waiting for is not showing up. And this is irritating me too. This is really starting to get on my nerves. I've been waiting here the entire day. I'm looking at my old brothers in arms and the Flaming Fist, trying to gauge what they're doing. Have I seen this kind of behavior before?
You certainly have. They're getting ready to make a movement. Something's going to happen very soon, you think. Not entirely sure what, though.
Looking to close the gate, perhaps, not to let anyone else through. That would be most unfortunate, I think to myself. I try to establish contact with one of the Flaming Fist soldiers. I did suppose I don't recognize anyone here.
Not at this moment in time. It's been a while for you, of course, but you did know quite a few, and most of them are still active in the service, but none of these you don't recognize. But you do grab just one as he's heading towards the gate. Yeah, what?
I do the greeting that we have within the Flaming Fist. The one that only the ones who have been there for a very long time would know. Does he recognize it?
He squints a little. His hostility lowers, but he still looks very distracted. Right. Look, mate, what do you want? I've got stuff to do.
I can see that. I'm waiting for someone. They're on the other side of the gate. Are they going to be able to get through? Is there something that I can do to give them access into the city here? Important business at the High House of Wonders.
Right, all right. All right, just come with me now. Come with me now, quickly. He sort of leads you through, and you suddenly find yourself among the guards, starting to head towards that gate. Royce, this man in question kind of, for a moment, said nothing to you. And you noticed that the swelling of the crowd kind of distracted him, and you got pushed forward a little. Grom, at this point, used this situation to quickly grab someone he was speaking with earlier to get his horses taken care of, and his caravan is starting to be drawn off to a nearby stable. He's quickly grabbed a few satchels off the caravan, and he comes to you. Right, okay, I've sorted that. I have my goods, now we just need to get in. Let's move forwards.
Well, Graham, we need to get out of here quick. This is... something stirring here and it's going to explode. We need to get through.
What do you mean?
There's just unease in the crowd. I can sense it. We need to push forward, and I'm going to push through the crowd, kind of making a hole for Grom to follow me through.
You start pushing through, and Grom, nodding quickly, comes with you. Larissa, you notice these two individuals are starting to make a bit of headway through that crowd. Maybe you'd want to get in on that. What do you think?
Yeah, she spots them actually making some headway through. She will also follow suit, keeping that cloak kind of drawn close around the front of her leather armour, but pushing through the crowd, keeping up. And if she can, she'll catch up to them and try to kind of move as if she's with them.
You do not need to roll, because there's so much commotion going on, and you're quite good at this, moving through crowds. You do just manage to perfectly slink behind them and make your way. You are now, all of you, really close to that gate. There's literally the guardsman holding the line, one person just going through. You both can see from behind them there is something happening. There are more guards coming to the gate, and there are whispers going around and commands being given. It is at this point, though, Royce, that just as you're about to get there, the man from earlier suddenly lunges at you from the side, shoving forwards. He's no longer alone. There are two other men with him. This one! He's mocking us all! He said, I care not if you have no home. He's just like the rest of the people in this city. Let us in! Let us in! What do you do, Royce? You've just been shoved ever so hard to the side.
So as I stumble back, I'm going to find my feet and go, What are you doing, you fool? People here are going to riot. We're all in the same boat. We're all trying to get into the city. What are you doing?
A man next to this man says, Same boat? Who the bloody hell are you? We've lost everything. Eturiel's gone. Whole family's gone. Do you have family? Have you lost your family? Or are you just selling some bollocks to the people of this godforsaken hellhole of a city? We need to get in. We're starving out here. We're dying.
Whoa, what do you mean gone? Eturiel's gone.
Taken by demons, says someone. Ravaged by enemies from the north. Foul sorcery. People are starting to shout all sorts of things, and suddenly there is a surge from behind. This man, the big bearded one from earlier you spoke to, he just steps aside. You need to let me go first. Why, we need to go first. We are more important than you. We have lives on the line. You do not.
We're all here to get into the city. We all need to get into the city. We're in the same boat as you. We're traveling. We're trying to get into the city. This man has goods for the city to help aid the refugees.
As you're having this conversation, one of the men next to the big bearded man notices you, Larissa. She's definitely not needed in the city. A tiefling? I won't let a tiefling go before me. They're probably responsible for the whole thing.
Larissa at this point will turn around to look at him, pull her hood off to show she's got large kind of curled horns that curl backwards away from her face. Her eyes are... there's no pupil, they're just black. As she turns to look at him and says, "Did the fine people here not just say that demons were responsible? Clearly I am no demon, if you know anything. My heritage is infernal. I think you'll find that unless this is the work of some devil, I'm clearly not responsible. I'd mind your tongue."
At this, a woman again, somewhere in the crowd, goes, "Demons! Devils! All the same! All the same!" And the man looks at you, Larissa. "We don't even allow your sort in Uturiel. We are a holy city of good people. We serve the gods of justice and honour and compassion." And you suddenly find yourself being surrounded. Suddenly there are more people, all kind of looking at you very angrily. And again, Larissa, you feel this, almost this presence. You even hear for a moment a strange whisper in your ear. "Just kill them. Just kill all of them. Spill blood. Give in. Hurt. Kill." It's gone very quickly, but you almost feel as if everyone can hear that. And the people looking at you seem eager to oblige. Royce, a young tiefling behind you is getting badly insulted by these people as well now, and everyone's suddenly getting very tense. The gentleman has come right up to you, sort of stares you down in your face. "Just move out of my way and we won't hurt anyone, but we need to go through first. All of us. We all do. This man, we all need it more than you, your tiefling friend and this merchant."
"Look, buddy," so finger in his chest, "if ye holy boys material are all high and mighty, why has your city been taken by demons? I mean, you're after attacking this tiefling woman for blaming her for your city being destroyed, for God knows what horrendous things happened that demons came to swallow it. We're all here together, and you need to calm down and act like this holy city and for the gods of good that you preach so much about."
This point, Grom speaks up and says, "Not to mention, all of you, I actually have important business, and you're getting in the way of it."
Grom, please. You pay me to deal with this, Grom. Just sit down, shut up, and I'll keep you alive.
"Well, I know, but surely they'll see reason..." As he says this, a fist is descending upon his head. What do you do, Royce?
I'm going to... So, as I see it happening, I'm going to try and basically block the fist. So just stand in the way to prevent him getting hit.
And you do so quite easily. Again, this man, this bearded man, is clearly just a desperate individual. There's no combat skill here. You know combat skill when you see it. And you block it easily. Unfortunately, that sets things off. The second you block the fist, you feel one more heading your way. Larissa, you feel a hard shove from behind. People are starting to come forward with intent to harm you. You can feel a riot is coming. People are screaming, shouting. As someone tries to swing at you, in fact, Larissa, they hit someone else, and they in turn start trying to swing back. Chaos is erupting very quickly. What are you going to do?
Larissa sees this all happening, and she's fairly used to people just being awful to her about the skin or the horns or the general tiefling appearance. Does this look like the wider crowd is also doing this, or is it kind of contained to the kind of few people surrounding us at the moment?
It looks like for a few seconds it's going to be just the people nearby, but again, you feel something. It's going to spread. You know it's going to spread, and you can see that already 2 people now are fighting behind you, and suddenly there's a surge forward as 20, 30, 40 other people are all suddenly screaming to let us through, because now you also notice the guardsmen are starting to move forwards. speaking of guardsmen, Lothar, you are just pushed with this other guard to the front just in time to see chaos. There's a group of people. Wait, is that the person you are here to let in? There's some sort of commotion, and behind them suddenly people are surging forwards. Right, that's enough of that. Close the bloody gates. Anyone stops you, just take them out. Take them down. Close the gates. And the guardsmen respond, moving forwards, weapons at the ready, to meet this crowd of people as they surge forward. Lothar, what do you do? You've managed to get forwards, and you think you can see the people you need. Well, one of them anyway, but yes, things are going to get very nasty very quickly.
Then I shall move together with this group of guards, trying to sort of almost be one of their ranks, but I'm trying to move towards these people that I recognize, the ones that I'm here to get. I hope that I can somehow reach them and then perhaps usher them in behind the wall of guards that's moving forward. And that is what I attempt to do.
And you move forwards. Royce, you manage to defend yourself against this individual. You are very close to the gates. You've heard this command go out. You can see all these guards getting ready to close those gates. But you are really close. And you notice Grom point forwards and go, Royce, that gentleman! Quick, let's get to that gentleman! He's our man!
Roy's gonna grab Grom by the scruff of the neck, kind of just push through the crowd, pushing Grom ahead of him. Tiefling, come with us, come on. It's not safe out here for you. And move to the man that Grom's pointed out.
So Larissa will run forward out of this, pushing her way past anyone to carry on with these two people she seems to have met. And if she can, she will use thaumaturgy. She'll begin casting it as she moves through, using it to cause harmless tremors in the ground, which hopefully, while they won't cause anyone damage, it might throw a few people off, put a few people off their footing, making it a bit easier for us to push through.
It certainly does. A sudden, mild tremor, as you said, not that harmful, but dramatic in a way, does suddenly mean anyone else who was close to you is suddenly either knocked aside or lost in the oncoming surge of people. Unfortunately, this does mean that just as yourself, this man with this dwarf, and now suddenly some warrior or human man who's come out from the gate, you all kind of collide together as those tremors go off, and suddenly one individual of the Flaming Fist guards sort of says, arrest all of those people! And then like a guard goes, yes, they started it, and suddenly you are being brought in, but at spear point, as multiple Flaming Fist guards are suddenly around all of you, you yourself included, Lothar.
No. We're here to get to the High House of Wonders. I'm with the temple. This is legitimate business.
No one cares, says one guard. On the plus side, Royce and Larissa, you are being let in. And as the spears sort of surround you, you do finally hear a loud clunk as those gates start being brought down. Looking behind you, you notice many people are trying to follow you or get past. They are immediately met by the butts of those spear blades. The Flaming Fist move forward as one and just start beating people down. There's crying, there's screaming. You're pretty sure, Larissa, you see a child with a mother just sort of lost into the sea as those gates then close. And there are just people like, let us in, you can't do this, and screaming, and the guards are just beating them away. But you all don't have much time to focus on that. You are now in the city, but yes, surrounded by guardsmen. An individual comes forward with a sort of surly look to him. Missing an eye, he has an eye patch, his hair is greasy and grey, he looks to be mid-30s, mid-40s. Right. Close the fucking gates, good, and... Right. You, the tiefling, you, a dwarf, and... Lothar? Oh, stone me crows, what the fuck are you doing down here? Lothar, this is... Zooge. Or rather, Captain Zooge, as he's known these days. You remember him, of course.
Yes, I do. He was one of my friends, or associates, whatever you want to call it. He was my brother in arms with the Flaming Fist during those years in their mercenary force when we, well, visited many places along the Sword Coast, dealing with problems in usually rather violent ways. Not quite something that I could stand for very long, but there was a camaraderie within the Flaming Fist, and I suppose I respect the men, even though I found myself not being able to respect those who gave the orders. Zuj, it's good to see you, I say without really making much of giving a smile or anything, just kind of a straight face.
Oh, it's great to see you too, Lothar. You can help explain all this. You, this lot, you're coming down to the sea tower. We'll sort it out there. I've got 2 men telling me that they saw this tiefling, this dwarf, and this man. You just caused all the fuck of this. It was going to be a nice gate closing, and now you made it all a mess. You can come with me now, and we can have a nice chat, or I can just force you all. What do you say?
I'm sorry, you think it was our fault that started? Have you seen how many people are outside of your gates? People starving, people injured, and you think it was 3 people that caused a riot?
Well, that's what I've just been told by my associates here, and I don't really care to speak with it here. So you can be my associates on a lovely walk to the gate, Miss Tiefling, or I can just have you all arrested on the spot. My soldiers can beat you senseless, beat this dwarf senseless, beat Lothar here senseless, because you're not really one of us anymore. Or you can just come with me. I'd suggest coming with me.
I think that would be prudent, I say, and I just nod to the others. Hopefully this won't take too long. We're here on legitimate business for the temple. There's money involved. I just say, and I nod to Zuj. Yes, please lead the way, friend.
Zuj nods, makes a gesture. The spears are put down, but you are now surrounded by a good 20 to 30 guardsmen. 30 more are securing that gate. The screaming is unpleasant. People are just panicking, and those gates are sealed. One thing's for sure, Larissa. If you'd been a few seconds too slow there, you would not be in the city now.
She will follow along with everyone else, because she's now kind of having to masquerade as if she's with these other 2 people. But it's very begrudgingly. She doesn't like the fact that she's been caught up. She's got somewhere to be.
Royce is going to do the same. He's going to just take down the hood of his cloak and trail behind at the back beside Grom and just kind of discreetly try to catch Grom's eye and say, Grom, what exactly are you transporting? I mean, your man there is telling everyone that we're doing a big job for money, and in Baldur's Gate, boasting about money is not something I would recommend.
Well, no, but we haven't really got a choice now. It's not nothing untoward. I'm just delivering some gears. You know, the Gond lot, they like their gears. I happen to have some. But this is all most inconvenient, but don't have a choice. Look, they've got a lot of spears. Can you disarm all 20 men?
Okay, whoa, relax. Let's throw this disarm word around. I was just asking, is there something in the bag we need to worry about? If it's just gears, no one needs to die for some gears. Let's just follow these guys.
Oh, all right, I suppose. We didn't have a choice, do we? And it doesn't seem like you do. The second you begin moving, you are politely, but those spears are always at the ready, led through the city, led away from the commotion at the Basilisk Gate. And you make your way through the lower city. The lower city of Baldur's Gate is a cosmopolitan of peoples, cultures, businesses. Largely trade businesses. This is mostly a port city, after all. You very quickly are led through streets that lead to the great harbours and ports of the city. It doesn't take long to notice that even the river traffic is very busy. Obviously not everyone's trying to get in through the gates on the roads. This is leading to many boats being overcrowded. There's a few boats you can see waiting to come into the harbours. Arguments all over the place. Things aren't good, it seems, in the city, but you are led quickly onwards through the various districts. takes you about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, before you begin to be led to the Great Sea Tower of Balduran. This is the main HQ of the Flaming Fist in the city, and their main fortress, which they use to uphold their sense of order. You are led across a small land bridge to this massive towered keep, and then led inside. You are separated, and it is long before all three of you find yourselves shoved into a cell. Not a proper prison cell, maybe just a waiting room of some kind. You are dumped in there, the door is locked, and Zooge says, "I'm just going to deal with this Mr. Grom here and his business, and then we're all going to have a nice, civilized chat." And the door is closed. All three of you are now in a small waiting room cell, and all three of you probably have no idea who the other person is. You have no idea how long you're going to be waiting. What do you do?
Larissa will turn and say, "Thank you for helping me get through the gate. I appreciate it."
Look, those assholes out there were going to take you, me, and everyone else with them, so it's the least we could do.
Yes, it is fortunate that you were able to make your way through the gate. The Flaming Fist are, well, they're notorious for how they handle people who are on the wrong side of the gate, shall we say. So it is good that you've made it here. I know that the priests in the temple are very much looking forward to this delivery.
I will admit I'm not part of this delivery crew. I'm actually here to drop off a message in the lower city. Didn't expect to come into so much trouble getting through the gate, though. And it's unfortunate that we've all found ourselves locked up in here.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I needed some money, and I'm looking for someone in Baldur's Gate, so I fell in with Grom's group. The name is Royce St. John, from Belgost. And you are?
Larissa. Just Larissa.
Nice to meet you, Larissa. And what about you, Paladin Boy?
I'm Lothar. It's nice to meet you. And he again almost puts on a smile, but kind of not really.
You both know Baldur's Gate quite well, am I right?
I grew up here in the outer city. It's a rough place, as you have seen.
Yes. Perhaps I don't know the city very well, but perhaps when we get out of here, one of you might be able to do me another favour. I'm looking for a tavern, but I don't know my way around the city.
If it is somewhere in the outer city, yes, I will know where it is. If it is in the lower city, I would know that as well.
It's the lower city that I believe this place is in. It's called the Elf Song Tavern.
Oh, I know that one.
For what it's worth, I'm not local. I've been to Baldur's Gate once or twice as a fighter to some of the less reputable taverns.
The best kind?
Just it depends. I've seen some stuff. I was a fighter, boxer, so I've been here once or twice, but I wouldn't say I know the city. Just the lower city bits and pieces.
So what do you think they're holding us here for? I mean, we've done nothing wrong. We didn't start any fights.
They probably need some scapegoats. Or perhaps there's something about this cargo. It may be more important than I would have thought. The priests think that everything is important, especially cogs, for obvious reasons.
Your buddy there, the captain of the guard. What kind of fellow is he? What sort is he? Is he trustworthy? Is he out for himself?
You would know, Lothar, as you once worked with Zooge. He's not necessarily a very good man at all. However, you do remember he did care about his fellow Flaming Fist companions. When he became a captain, he does care about men under his command. But he has no moral scruples and isn't necessarily a good man or a bad man, just a man run by money and ambitious as well.
He does what he is told, and he's trying to climb the ladder within the Flaming Fist. I think that he cares about people when it suits him, when it is profitable for him. I truly hope that we are in a situation where It will be profitable for him to care for us. That, I think, is the only way that we will get out of here anytime soon. The bureaucracy of this city can take a long time.
As a knock on the door. And the door is opened and unlocked from outside. Captain Zooge enters. He has with him 2 or 3 other guardsmen as well, carrying in a table. He gestures a little. They put the table down, and then a chair. He goes to sit down at the table, looking at the 3 of you, and the guardsmen go outside and just sort of maintain a guard position. Right. Okay. Come on over, let's all have a chat. He gestures to standing in front of the table where he is sitting. What do you all do?
Loretta will go over to the table.
I will do the same.
Well, today's your lucky day. Here's how it's gonna go. You see, I know that you weren't really involved in anything that bad. I'll be honest though, if it weren't for Lothar here, I would have just arrested you, Tiefling, and you, sir, and just kept you in a cell for a few days, because I don't really need the hassle. However, I happen to know Lothar. I happen to know Lothar's quite the resourceful type. But sometimes it's best to get a few people involved in these sort of things. So here's what's going to happen. First of all, don't worry about Mr. Grom. I've sorted it. He's on his way to the High House of Wonders. Your employers, Mr. Lothar, will not be put out today. I don't need a headache from them, so that's all sorted. Oh, and he throws a small purse towards you, Royce. Your payment from Mr. Grom. Don't worry, it's all there.
Where's Mr. Grump? I was paid to do a job to keep Grump safe, and at the moment I don't know if he's safe.
Well, who knows? I'm sure I'll get to the High City just fine with my boys. You have more pressing things to be concerned about. For example, the job all 3 of you are going to be doing for me.
What?
I'm hiring you all. Congratulations. You're going to be doing the city of Baldur's Gate a great service in the honour of its people and the well-being of its people, especially during such a tricksy and unpleasant time as we find ourselves in.
Does this job have payment?
Of course. We're mercenaries, not thieves. You're going to get, let's have a think, out as 200 gold sound each for the completion of this task.
Tell us about the task first, and then I'll tell you if that's a reasonable rate for my services.
Ho-ho! Negotiator, eh? Lothar, you might have a troublesome one here. Or maybe not. Alright. So, as you can see, our city is in a bit of a troublesome time. All these refugees from Turiel are causing a little bit of a stir. They can't help it, I suppose. They're all high and mighty types. Think people like us in Baldur's Gate are the scum of the earth. Well, we're not the ones who are lacking a city now, are we? Anyway, something's gone down in the Turiel. I don't know what. Apparently it's gone. Which is a strange thing to say, I know. I don't know. Some people are saying it's a smoking crater. Some people are saying it's been completely destroyed overnight. Some people are saying it's all red wizards of Fae. They always say that, don't they? Suffice to say, we got hundreds. They started coming in 2 days ago. Now, we weren't able to stop them then, but, well, I've taken matters into my own hands and closed the gates today. We're not letting any more in. They're causing a ruckus everywhere, especially their soldiers. You know, the ones that call themselves Hell Riders. Stupid name, but, well, we're trying to arrest all the ones we can find, because they're leading trouble the most. Saying things like, oh, Baldur's Gate has something to do with it, or we knew it was going to happen, or it's all a foreign ploy. You know, all that business. Suffice to say, I have my hands full, and with the Grand Duke missing and all, who, as you know, Lothar is the leader of our organisation, we're a little bit stretched. So I don't have time to be dealing with all the problems going on. And we have a problem going on. So that's why you are going to help with the problem. I'm going to pay you, and then you can go on your merry way, and I will look good and be doing my job well.
How long has the Grand Duke been missing, by the way? Is this something that Lothar would know?
It's only really been surfacing as of a day ago, rumours that Grand Duke Alder Ravengard has gone missing. So yes, it's quite recent news. But you would know he not only is the Grand Duke of Baldur's Gate, the ruler duke over the 3 other dukes that make the Council of 4, but also the main commander of the Flaming Fist.
That is usually how it goes in this city, is it not? The one who has the power is the one who is also in charge of the violence, yes?
Although, you would know, and even you, Royce, may have remembered from hearing, that Grand Duke Ulder Ravengard is known to not be the worst of people. He does actually seem to, at least publicly and in speeches, claim he cares about order and peace and looking after the people of Baldur's Gate, and he does seem to carry that out, even if the Flaming Fist themselves are not always the epitomes of decency and goodwill to all men.
Look, Suj, I know you're a man of your word. If I have your word that you have brought my, the one I was supposed to protect to the High House of Wonders, then, yes, I suppose I would be willing to do this for the city. I, after all, serve the temple and the temple serves the city, so you can count me in.
Good. Now, I'll give some more details, Miss Tiefling, don't worry, but what about you, Mr. Silent? What do you think?
Looks like I don't have much of a choice. There's plenty of your men with spears, but we'll do it.
Good. You see, that's what I like to hear. People in this sort of situation do see my boys coming, and again, as I said, we don't have time to be dealing with little things right now, and I need every man on the gates. You see, Lothar, I'm trying to take command as best I can. And, well, until, Duke Porter is bringing in his niece from, Fort Balerion. So, she's not going to be here for, days. So until then, I'm trying to do my best for the people of the city, of course. It gives you a bit of a grin.
It's a great opportunity for you, Azuj. I congratulate you on it. I hope you will do a great job. Take care of the city.
Oh, I intend to. So, your task. I'll be blunt with you. There's a lot of shit going on in the lower sea at the moment, but some of it's gone a little bit unpleasant. Again, in the following week we've had since the Duke went off to, his diplomatic meeting in Uturiel. That's why he's missing, we all guess. If Uturiel's gone, maybe the Duke went with him. God knows what that would mean. Suffice to say, before the refugees started coming in, we started having a little bit of a murder problem. Now, I know what you're going to say. It's Baldur's Gate. People get murdered all the time, and they do. But normally there's a reason behind it. And these murders have been a little bit on the whole, random unpleasantness. When they're random, and when they target people who ain't done nothing, people around here do start getting a bit antsy. Especially when it's things like leaving the bodies all spread out all over the place. And of course, painting the signs of the dead free. You lot know who the dead free are?
Not a clue.
No, I'm sorry.
I would have studied some religious texts, so I am aware of the 3 gods, right?
You are indeed. They would be the dead free. Baal, Lord of Murder, Bane, Lord of Tyranny, and Merkel, Lord of Bones. Lord, God, interchangeable. They are no longer considered that powerful in the Pantheon, but there was a time they were very insidious, and they still have power. All gods have power, as long as people believe in them, after all.
That is right. That is right.
Well, Lothar, I think, knows. Basically, it's the bad uns. Bane, Baal, Merkel. Now, again, it's Baldur's Gate. Everyone can worship whoever they want, as long as they don't go around murdering people in the street and trying to destroy the whole city. We don't have time to crack down on every single person who wants to worship a god. Good, evil, neutral. There's so many, aren't there? But in this case, it's a little bit much, and it's getting people rolled up. Most importantly, in a time like this, it's having people say the Flaming Fist are finally failing us. With the Grand Duke gone, with the refugees everywhere, what good are we? Especially, Duke Falmara Thumper. She's totally trying to get us out of the picture, complaining about us at the Council of Peers, all that. So, we need to do a bit of investigating, don't we? Now, it's not unusual that these cultists worship these gods, but normally when they start stirring up like this, it means someone is making them do it, or they're getting some money, or they've established themselves a little bit of a coven, rather than just, one weirdo at a house. So, I have some information. You're going to follow up that information, and then you're going to hopefully find a little den of cultists and disperse them. However you see fit. Kill them, rob the place, burn it to the ground. As long as it's disrupted, and ideally if you can find out who is behind it all, that's all I need to make things a little easier for me in the city.
So we just need to get rid of them, right? Out of the city would also be acceptable, as long as they're not causing any problems here, correct?
Indeed. You're not going to be able to root out every single one, and that would be a whole thing in itself. I just need... If there's a place they're all gathering, I want it found out. To be honest, if you find it, these lot aren't stupid. They'll disperse in time. The secrecy, and all that. But kill a few of them, and ideally find out what their deal is. Is this like it's the time of the year where Baal's going to come back or something like that? I don't know, but I'd like to at least inquire.
What? When you said den of cultists, how many cultists do you think are in this little coven? I mean, you're throwing around words here that sound like it might be more than just 3 guys in a little house. Like, what is the deal with this cult? What size do you reckon you have? What intelligence have you on them?
I have none at present, other than one little lead, which I'll tell you when you fully are on the mission. However, from the past, normally, if they're doing this many murders, it's been about 10, 15 in the last week alone. Well, let's say that's going to be at least 10, 20, maybe 30 individuals. Again, you don't have to kill every single one of them. I just want you to find out where they bloody are. They'll be somewhere, organising. This stuff requires organisation. Someone's probably giving them some money as well. Cultists don't get good weapons and gear out of nowhere.
And assumingly, however we choose to deal with them, we're not going to end in repercussions for us from, let's say I'd rather not be led at spear point through this city again.
Oh, no. In fact, he reaches into his pocket and pulls out some coppery badges. In fact, you're going to be on official Flaming Fist business if you agree to this, so my boys will not give you any trouble and you'll be licensed to carry out the law in our name. So don't worry, no one's going to be angry at you killing cultists.
I accept this badge, recognizing it, of course, from before. Alright, time for this again, I think to myself.
It sounds like you really do have a bit of a problem. 15 murders in a week. Distressing that the bodies are being set out in such a fashion. I would think that perhaps 300 gold pieces each would serve better for us all, considering the danger we're putting ourselves in.
Shrewd negotiator. I like you. I'll make you a deal. You get 200 gold pieces now, and you get the 100 when you come back alive and you've actually dealt with the problem.
I believe that sounds fair, and she turns to look at her other 2 soon-to-be companions.
I nod.
Sounds like a plan. And a reason to visit some taverns. Wink.
Well, don't worry. You're not going to need to visit too many, because I can tell you the first tavern you're going to. The Elfsong Tavern. You're going to meet a friend of mine there. She owes me a favour. She might require some services of her own, but maybe you can negotiate around that. Goes by the name of Tarina.
Fair enough.
Then I believe we should get started.
Yes, there's no time like the present.
Well, wasn't that easy, Lothar? And here I was thinking I'd have to beat you all a few more times and threaten you with death. Just like the old days, eh?
Yes, I remember the old days all too well.
Of course you do, Lothar. Of course you do. Right then, you're off to the tavern. Tarina is someone who may have seen something that can lead you to a location, I've been led to believe. You're to go in, sort it out, and then, yes, we'll see. Depending on if you think you've done everything right or not, you can come back. But again, I am going to want full answers as much as possible. All right, then. He claps his hands, and guardsmen come in to lead you out of the Great Sea Tower. And you are led out quite quickly. You get a few glimpses of the sea tower itself. A pretty formidable fortress. Good 100, 200 guardsmen here at most times. And the Great Sea Chain, of course, it has to raise out into the ports that can stop any enemy fleets suddenly just waltzing into Baldur's Gate. You are led across the drawbridge and left in the Sea Tower district. A district you actually are familiar with Royce. This district serves the Flaming Fist the most. It has the most taverns, the most bars, the most shops that directly serve the Flaming Fist, as well as the best weapon shops in town. And of course once, although it was long ago, a little place that held legal fighting games. Fighting games you almost won once, but not quite. Not quite. And it is onto the streets that you are led and then left. The sun is beginning to set slowly to the west, and night will soon be falling on the city of Baldur's Gate. This will bring in, of course, Lothar the fog that comes in every night to shroud the lower city in an eerie mist.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we played the campaign Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. We were joined by Virginia Page, who is Tabletop Horde on Twitter, and Owen Fáilbhe from the How We Roll podcast. We would like to extend our thanks to our friends at Wizards of the Coast for all their support in getting us the material early and for helping more people discover the show. The music was made by Halgrath, Aegis Sonus, Atrium Carceri and Herbst9 and was used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Check out their website at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some moody, dark ambient. We also used the soundtrack to Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 by Michael Honig and to Planescape Torment by Mark Morgan, and permission for this was given by the awesome people at Beamdog. Check out the enhanced editions of those classic games for some of the best D&D adventures ever created. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult, Divinity Lost, and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. More importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so please do consider becoming one of our beloved Patreons. Thank you again for listening, and see you soon again.